The Division 2 developers have finally pulled back the curtain on everything they learned from the Season 2 into the dark public test server, and after 2 full testing phases, it is clear that player feedback had a massive impact on the final version of the update. What makes this PTS different from previous testing cycles is that the developers started much earlier than usual. Instead of waiting until the last minute, they used the first phase to experiment with major ideas, and then used the second phase to fine-tune those systems based on community feedback. According to the development team, this approach allowed them to test multiple solutions, compare player reactions, and find a middle ground that worked for both casual and hardcore agents. One of the biggest concerns throughout the PTS was the prototype gear economy and the overall escalation experience. Many players felt that progression was becoming too grindy, and that some of the reward structures were punishing rather than rewarding. After reviewing the feedback, the developers made several major adjustments. For starters, group leaders in Escalation will now earn better rewards than guests. This change is designed to encourage players to host and lead groups instead of simply joining existing runs. The team has also reduced the frustration of climbing through Escalation tiers. Previously, failing at Tier 10 could feel devastating because of how much progress was lost. Now, players who fail at the highest levels will no longer be sent all the way back to Tier 1. Instead, they can restart from Tier 4 or Tier 5, dramatically reducing the time needed to get back into challenging content. Another major victory for players involves the prototype cash vendor. During the PTS, the development team tested significant price increases that would have raised some cash costs to between 15 and 20 tokens. Community feedback was overwhelmingly negative, and the developers listened. Those increases have now been completely reverted. When Season 2 launches, cash prices will remain at 5 and 10 tokens. Perhaps the most important economic change involves prototype augment rerolling. During testing, players discovered that reroll costs escalated quickly, making it increasingly difficult to chase perfect rolls. To address this issue, the developers have implemented a cost cap. The first reroll will still cost 2 tokens, the second will cost 4, and the third will cost 6. However, every reroll after that will remain at 6 tokens instead of climbing into double-digit costs. This should significantly reduce frustration while still maintaining a meaningful investment for endgame optimization. The developers are also making adjustments to escalation mutators. The Variety Pack mutator has been toned down considerably. Instead of applying its damage penalty after the first enemy kill, it now activates after the third kill. Players can also remove the effect more easily through assists or weapon swapping. The Anchor mutator is being removed from the current seasonal rotation to make room for new experiences. Meanwhile, Unyielding has been adjusted so enemies only clear status effects at specific thresholds instead of becoming permanently immune. Harvester has also received a major quality of life change. Enemies affected by Harvester can now be neutralized through grenades or status effects, making life much easier for tank and crowd control focused builds. While Escalation received significant attention, the Dark Zone may be seeing the biggest transformation of all. Season 2 introduces the concept of PvE Dark Zones as shared spaces designed to encourage player interaction rather than isolation. One of the most interesting additions is a new currency called Stabilization Agents. Players will need this resource to perform extractions, creating opportunities for multiple players to gather together and potentially share extraction costs. The loot system is also changing in a way that many players have requested for years. For the first time in the Division 2, loot from Dark Zone chests can be shared among nearby players. Instead of only rewarding the person who opens the chest, everyone in proximity can benefit. This should encourage cooperation and make the PvE Dark Zone feel much more social. The developers have also reduced chest cooldowns across all Dark Zones. Instead of waiting 30 minutes for a chest to reset, players will only need to wait 20 minutes before it becomes available again. However, Ubisoft wants to make sure that the traditional PvP Dark Zone remains the most rewarding environment because of its higher level of risk. To accomplish this, they have adjusted exotic component drop rates. In PvE Dark Zones, landmark chests will have a 25% drop chance. In PvP Dark Zones, that same chest will offer a 40% chance. Challenging bosses can drop exotic components at a 33% rate, while heroic bosses can reach a 48% drop chance. The message is clear: greater risk will continue to offer greater rewards. For PvP players, the biggest news may be the massive balance overhaul happening behind the scenes. The developers revealed that more than 300 gear adjustments have been implemented through a new system called PvP Overrides. This technology allows the team to balance talents and gear specifically for PvP without impacting PvE gameplay. In the past, balancing one side of the game often created problems on the other side. PvP Overrides finally give the developers the flexibility to make targeted changes. Heartbreaker has received reductions to both damage and bonus armor generation. Core strength has been adjusted with a 5% increase to talent strength, while skill efficiency has been reduced. The Caduceus exotic has also been modified, providing a 3% heal with reduced team-wide effectiveness. The developers describe these changes as only the beginning of a much larger journey to improve PvP balance and create a healthier competitive environment over the long term. Another major focus for the team is security and anti-cheat measures. During the PTS, developers tested new tools specifically designed to detect and combat lag switching. While they remain intentionally secretive about the details, they confirm that additional resources are being invested into cheat detection and prevention. At the same time, they continue to rely heavily on player reports and manual investigations to avoid the false bans that can sometimes occur with fully automated systems. Beyond gameplay systems, the team also addressed several long-standing technical concerns. Console players will be happy to hear that the infamous visual degradation issue, often compared by players to graphics from older console generations, remains a top priority. According to the developers, the issue is tied to memory management and hardware optimization challenges. Internal testing has shown promising results, but the team is refusing to release a fix until they are confident it will not introduce crashes or force players out of the game. Crossplay was another major topic of discussion. While development continues, the feature is proving far more complicated than many expected. The developers must solve issues involving leaderboards, controller aim assist, clan management, and account progression before crossplay can safely launch. They emphasize that rushing the feature could potentially put player progress and accounts at risk, so they are taking a cautious approach. Finally, the team addressed ongoing server stability concerns, including the dreaded Delta disconnects that continue to frustrate many agents. Developers confirmed they are actively investigating background server crashes and exploring ways to ensure players are not unfairly punished when technical problems occur during activities like Escalation. Their goal is to protect player progress and prevent losses caused by issues outside of the player's control. Overall, the biggest takeaway from these PTS reflections is that the development team appears to be listening more closely than ever before. Several unpopular changes were reversed, progression systems were made more accessible, and major quality of life improvements were implemented directly because of player feedback. Season 2 Into the Dark is shaping up to be one of the most significant updates the Division 2 has received in quite some time, and it may only be the beginning of much larger changes planned for the future. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about the prototype economy changes? Are the new PvE Dark Zones something you are excited to jump into? Or do you still prefer the traditional PvP experience? And what are your thoughts on the massive PvP rebalance and the future of crossplay? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to ManaWar Gaming, and turn on notifications so you do not miss any future Division 2 news, updates, guides, and coverage. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.